Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we'll be playing in the Tier 10 German Super Heavy, the Jagdpanzer E100. Now, this is a vehicle that I really want to like in our current version of Blitz. But the problem is, it doesn't have enough mobility. Its DPM is fine. Like, it has 2,800 damage per minute, which is more than enough for a Tier 10 Super Heavy style vehicle. But the problem is that the tank is so slow, and we're in a meta of so much mobility and DPM, that it forces vehicles like the Yag to fall into this situation where they just can't really do anything to change the course of the battle. But in Reforged, you are able to completely change that. The Jagdpanzer I'm driving currently has 2,300 hit points, which is the same as that Kron in front of me and only about 100 less than that T-57 Heavy. And when you pair that with the fact that I'm also featuring a top speed of 33 kilometers per hour and a very solid power to weight ratio, it takes what is a slow, encumbered super heavy to a vehicle which actually feels like it's able to do its role in the battlefield. And that is something that, well, is pretty rare to achieve. And it's what I do like about Reforged. I like the fact that I can actually choose how I want my tank to play, and I'm not limited by the just deciding factors of the game itself. So we're trying to flank here, and the reason why is well, there's a Yag. Interesting. Okay, well, with this Jagdpanzer being right in front of me, I don't know how I feel about this, but we're going to activate our tungsten, and we're going to aim it on its superstructure, load a gold shell, and perfect. We angled it right at the correct second there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to activate adrenaline, because we should out-reload this enemy Jagdpanzer. By the way, these are not bots. These are all players. You can see we have a platoon against us, so none of these are bots. So we're going to aim it on this Jag again, and there you go. 921. That is crazy. Now the Kron's going to roll to the side and take that player out of the game. Now we can see how that Jagdpanzer had a very different loadout than I did. One shot into that player, only had about 1,200 health left, and I still would have had over, 13, 1,400 health in that exact same situation. Now that doesn't discount the fact that that player was pretty bad, but look at how much more mobility we have in our tank as well. Chilling at 35 kilometers per hour at this moment. It's so much faster. Even uphill, we're still chilling at 17, 18 kilometers per hour. You could never achieve that in our current version of the game. So we're going to aim it on the grill, and this should be a pretty easy shot. There you go, 794. I have a feeling that player was running Spall Liner, hence why our shot didn't do too much. But look at this. Even in this situation here, I still have 1,150 health left. I've been shot by every single player, and yet I still don't care. We're going to keep moving up here. We're going to aim it on this XM. We're going to aim it on his flat side here. And there you go. 880 damage. And now we're going to face hug the XM. We're going to angle it so I don't get penned. There you go. Beautiful. And angling again here. Let's make sure that the XM realistically doesn't have the shot. Okay, this player just doesn't know where the heck he's aiming. Again, this is not a bot, so I don't know where they're aiming, to be honest. But we're going to load in a premium shell into its roof, and just like that, we get the clear. So that extra HP actually went a long way, and that mobility allowed me to get the shell into the grill. If I didn't have that mobility, that grill might have been able to back into cover before I got over that hill. But this game, we had a pretty fun result. In our victory, we ended up dealing 3,896 damage, and it actually felt really nice. And that game was a perfect example of how mobility did work out well, because in that situation, nobody was on the heavy flank apart from that one Yag. I needed to get all the way over to the medium flank, and I needed to catch the enemies off guard before they got farmed out by the rest of my team. And because of that increase of top speed and acceleration, we were able to get there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change our Yag for a DPM beast, right? That's already an extra 142 damage per minute right there. Then we're going to get an additional 88 DPM, and we're going to get more traverse speed. This increases my traverse speed by 4.7 degrees a second, which also can be argued as really important for the tank. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our commanders. And instead of running Olivia, we can either run Lisa, which gives us better accuracy and concealment, or more importantly, Duncan. This is going to give us even more DPM and more damage. So our Jagdpanzer now has over 3,200 effective DPM because of our commander. And when you pair that with the increased traverse speed, it means it's going to be a lot better for dealing with mobile tanks and ripping out that damage per minute. But we are going to have a lot less health. We're going to have potentially 200 less hit points, and we're also going to feature much worse mobility. So our Jagdpanzer is not going to feel nearly as quick. We're not going to be able to accelerate. We're not going to be able to reverse as quick, which are two very important things when you think about it. So again, when it comes to this game, everything can be down to how you play, right? We have 2080 health now instead of 2280. That's a big difference. Personally, I think Lisa's buff should actually be, or not Lisa, I think the buff to your HP should actually be a teeny bit more, maybe about a 15% hit point buff. But I can definitely tell you the mobility feels a lot worse in our current Yag. We are on hard terrain right now, which is the fastest terrain that you can drive on, and you can feel how much slower we accelerate. I mean, we are just getting the 28, 27. It's much worse. It's so super noticeable as well. So, yeah, there is a big difference between the current Yag that we're driving and the previous one. And I can tell you personally that mobility and hit points is going to be the way that I would probably run this tank, because mobility is just such an important value to have in these super heavily armored vehicles. But there you go, we got the VK-72. Nice 900 damage shell into his tank. Let's keep moving up here. We have the IS-7 on our flank, and we'll see. But again, like, this is where mobility is so important, because we're spending all this time trying to get to that VK-72, and we would have already had the shell anyway with our other version of the tank. But I will say that that reload is a lot faster. It's a 17.6 second reload versus a 15.5 second reload with this loadout. And obviously, this is where that DPM is nice, because we can reload a lot faster here, get that clearing shell into that VK-72, hopefully, and then we'll be done. So we're going to aim it right on the engine deck. Or not. Armor not pierced, I guess. It's a bit of a bug, but nothing I can do about it. Let's just angle the vehicle, hope that we get a bounce. He might go... No, he does not go through my armor. Alright, let's back up, and let's aim it on the corner cutout. There you go. Easy clearing shot. Now we're going to turn around, and we're going to hopefully get a shell into this IS-7. We have 9 seconds left on our reload, but again, look at this mobility. It's so much slower, so much slower. 3, 2, 1, we got the IS-7 right here, and unfortunately we are not able to hit that tank through the lower part there. Alright, let's keep moving up. Our team's not doing amazing right now, as we can see, and that's definitely not good. We have 50 seconds left before we can get our repair kit back. And again, this is where that mobility definitely would feel a lot nicer, because I'd be able to, you know, get to this IS-7 quicker. But let's ram the IS-7. I know that the IS-7 has very poor premium pen, which does give us that big advantage here to potentially get bounces in this situation. And what we're going to do is we're going to aim it on the IS-7 here. We're going to put on our tungsten, and let's load a gold shell maybe. I can't reliably pen the IS-7, but there you go. 864. We do get pen in return, and that does kill my engine, which is not very good. But maybe with that increased traverse, nah, we're cooked. There's nothing we can do now. Oh, man. Oh, we actually got a bounce, but the boss Shotgun clipping out our rear was going to clear us anyway. So, is DPM nice? Sure, it is. And damage per minute did give us some advantages. I don't know how much we ended up dealing this game. We still probably did fine. What the heck? That's not what I wanted to see. What? Okay, here we go. We ended up dealing... it should be this page. Here we go. 4,100 damage. So not bad, right? We got a lot of damage out. But that extra health and that extra mobility might have allowed me to quickly catch that VK-72, get him cleared faster. Then it would have allowed me to get over to that IS-7 quicker, possibly clear that IS-7 before the other teammates were killed. I think, personally, I'd probably go with HP and mobility on this tank versus DPM, but a player like Peter KW who loves DPM might go for that route. And there's no one route that is better, right? There are certain situations where DPM might allow you to get out a shot that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to. But there's also definitely situations where having that mobility would have allowed you to get to a flank quicker, to stop the enemy team from pushing, and allow you to get out of a situation faster. Both are important. The question is, what's more important to you? Either way, this was a fun video to record, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.